I'm so happy to welcome you to the fourth webinar in the EuroMed Cluster Innovative Series titled Harnessing Industry for and Skills Development to Accelerate Mediterranean Energy Clusters Impact. To me, this is a wow topic. Organized under the EU co-funded EuroMed Cluster Forward, ECF, project, this series promotes collaboration and innovation across key sectors in the Mediterranean. Today, we are shifting the focus to the energy sector, which is a field for about 15% of identified South Mediterranean clusters. This sector plays a vital role in advancing clean technologies, digital transformation, and workforce development, essential drivers of sustainable and inclusive growth, each and every one of them. On behalf of the Economic Research Forum and our partners, I would like to thank all our speakers and participants. We look forward to the presentations and panel discussions, which come at a timely moment with the approaching launch of the new Pact for the Mediterranean, reinforcing our shared commitment for regional cooperation and resistance. Just note, please, that in my own interest, and given that interest as an industrial economist, holding a heavy load of Egypt's support for public sector industries, I am going to be really engaged in all of your sessions. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity for this address. I'm Emmanuel Notary, the General Delegate of ANIMA. We are the coordinator of the EuroMed Clusters Forward project. And I'm very happy to be here for this webinar on the Industry 4.0 and green tech, clean tech issues. I would like to thank, obviously, the EuroMed, Economic Research Forum for the organization of this event. Maybe I share two words on the EuroMed Clusters Forward itself for those who don't know this project. So this project has started in 2022, in mid-2022. It's a EU co-funded project. It's co-funded by the DG MENA at the European Commission, the new DG in charge of the Pact. And the objective of this project, which is following different initiatives we benefited from the support of the EU, is to strengthen industrial clusters. So networks of companies, innovators, research labs, large and small companies that exist all over the Mediterranean and in Europe, and to support these clusters to grow, to develop, to play their role of accelerators of innovation and accelerators of technology upscaling within the industry of the countries of this region, and to connect these clusters and their industries to the European clusters and industry ecosystem. So we are precisely in the topic of today's of skill development and joint partnership between Europe and the Mediterranean in the field of energy and clean tech. So it's a large project that we operate in partnership, ANIMA in partnership with Beritech in Lebanon, Leaders International in Palestine, Jordan, and Belgium, and the Economic Research Forum, along with different associate partners that represent the different countries, Spain, Tunisia, Morocco, Italy, European networks, Malta. So we have a number of actors, territorial actors, as well as networks like FEMIS, The Economist of the EuroMed, and EBN, which is the European Network for Business Innovation Centers. So it covers 7 countries: Algeria, Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Morocco, Palestine, and Tunisia. The project will work at 3 strategic levels. One is to improve the framework, the strategic framework, the legal framework of the countries, and thus we conduct public-private dialogue, policy support, policy advocacy, assistance to the government to have the ecosystem, the legal ecosystem evolve in favor of facilitating the research in the industry upscaling, and overall the framework in which these clusters operate. The second pillar of the project is about strengthening the capacities of the clusters, and for this purpose, we organize obviously training, but also learning expedition abroad, peer-to-peer cooperation, peer-to-peer technical assistance, so that clusters can help each other in improving. And we deliver technical assistance to clusters in the 7 focus countries. And finally, the third pillar is about activating the value chains, so really putting in contact the industries, the clusters, so that they can develop business linkages, technology partnerships across the Europe and Mediterranean countries. And to do so, we organize matchmaking events, but most importantly, we support joint projects that are initiated and managed by clusters and industries from the different countries in this region. And we have 13 current projects that are operating in different value chains, different sectors that will contribute and that contribute in the end to developing these value chains, these business relations, these technology partnerships across the region. So just to give you the agenda of the next days and next weeks and months. So we are in this webinar on harnessing Industry 4.0. At the same time, we have colleagues in Lebanon, in Beirut, that are participating to what we call an academy. So it's a training and learning visit in Lebanon on access to market and business development. In November, we will have our big annual conference for the project, along with what we call a tech day. So it's a matchmaking event. So we will be inviting 30 clusters and industries in Tunisia to partners between countries, but also with the Tunisian ecosystem. It's in the framework of the Mediterranean Forum of Artificial Intelligence. So it's really connected to your topic of harnessing Industry 4.0, as you can see. And so it will be a big 3 days event where we will have a lot of inspiring sessions to learn, but also B2Bs and matchmaking between the different industries and clusters that are participating. Within this context, we will have a workshops dedicated to CBAM, the carbon border adjustment mechanism. You know that this carbon tax at the border of the EU is currently today being reviewed at the European Parliament by the legal commission of the European Parliament. It's important to know how we can leverage on this tax to I would say incentive shorter value chains, incentive EuroMed value chains, and position subcontracting and investment at the border of the EU as an advantage compared to producing and outsourcing in other parts of the world, which are much more far away. So it's the conclusion of 3 meetings that we have organized on CBAM, and we will discuss in Tunis at a more strategic level how we can leverage and lobby to have a CBAM that is favoring North African and Middle East countries. We will have on the 4th of December seminar, a policy benchmark seminar organized by FEMIS on it will be a Maghreb seminar to compare the legal frameworks in relation to clusters in the different Maghreb countries. And then, as you can see, we have quite regular webinars and seminars which favor best practice exchange. I think it's key, and we will be discussing it during this session. I think the circulation of best practice, the promotion of good examples that happen in the different countries is very key to inspire other countries and also to homogenize the practices, because in sectors such as renewable energy or energy in general and environment at large, it's important to have homogenized regulation. This is it for me at this stage, and I look forward to the discussion during the session.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. So we can move smoothly now to the first. Yes.
Hold on for a second.
Yeah.
Yes, this was an excellent presentation, Emmanuel. I just want to make an important mention of the situation of Egypt relative to your institution. I think Egypt has not received enough attention from Europe as compared to Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, etc. Maybe we were late in joining, but the opportunities are important and win-win for all of us. We have huge supplies now of natural gas and others, and we're investing more and more into it. And this will be essential for all of the South Med, the south and the north of the Mediterranean. So I suggest that you should indulge, please, in much more research, and especially in support of small, medium, and other, enterprises that are totally out of the game in Egypt, because we've never had the kind of tensions that have been formidable, I'm aware of them, in the Maghreb countries. We're very jealous, and rightly so, because the size of Egypt and the huge amounts it has now invested to get more gas and more of all the clean energies out of the desert of Egypt, I expect a lot more from you, inshallah. Thank you.
If I may answer, you're talking about the EU policy in general, probably. At the EuroMed Cluster Forward, I would say that Egypt is a great participant to the project, and the Egyptian clusters and the Egyptian industries, Federation of Industries itself, but also the energy clusters that exist in Egypt are really much participating. I think Europe is conscious maybe of your point. They organize the EU Egypt business forum in the middle of October. I think it's on the 23rd or 22nd of October. So I think Europe is well aware of the potential of partnership with Egypt, and especially in this clean tech, green tech sector. And I can testify indeed that there is a strong impetus from Egyptian partners to collaborate with Europe in this domain. So I hope it will give all the satisfaction you expect.
Right. I'm delighted with the good news, but I honestly believe that where Morocco and Tunisia, for instance, I know very well these countries, have been able to help their small business that are not even registered, etc. All this is over. It's history. Egypt is only starting. We need to help it. It's a big country with a lot of poor people who have no knowledge that they can get any kind of help from groups that you form and that you help us form. And we learn the way to do it. I'm on the ground in the south of Egypt. People need you, need what you've done in other countries. So please remember us. Okay.
We never
Thank
forget Egypt.
Thank
Don't
you.
worry.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hiba and Emmanuel. I think it's now time for moving to the first session where we hear from Lorena and Richard. And Dr. Adel. The first presentation will tackle energy landscape in the South Med region. It's a new paper recently published by Richard and Lorena. After that, Dr. Adel Ben Youssef will also help us with another presentation giving us a status quo of digitalization and this Industry 4.0 along with the workforce potential in South Med region. I give you the floor and I hope that you can abide by the time to make sure that we have time for questions and discussions. And the floor is yours, Richard and Lorena. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. I will start off and then my colleague Lorena will come in a moment. So to introduce myself, I'm Richard Smith. I'm based with climate think tank E3G in Brussels, working together with my colleague Lorena Stella Martini, who's based at the Italian climate think tank ECHO. So we are going to do a presentation very briefly, just looking at the energy landscape in the Southern Med. We are coming at this very much from the perspective of renewable energies. I appreciate there's also various investments in gas in the region. But I think in the context of the fact that the EU's gas demand is heading downwards in the medium and long term, we've been focusing particularly on the potential for renewables in the region. So looking at renewables, just to go to the next slide. The Southern Mediterranean is really emerging as one of the most exciting places in the world for renewable energy, including indeed Egypt, among the other North African countries, and the countries of the wider Southern Mediterranean region. I've got a map here, or a graph here, just looking at North Africa in particular. Of course, this picture is similar across the wider region, but just in North Africa alone, if you look at the technical installable capacity of renewables, there's about 3,550 gigawatts of capacity there. This is figures from the International Renewable Energy Agency. And that's actually more capacity than is currently installed all around the entire world. Okay, so more like 2,900 renewables in the entire world. Okay, so North Africa alone has more renewable energy generation capacity than we have currently around the whole world currently installed. Of everything that's installed around the world, if you look at this tiny little blue bar on the bottom left, only 7 gigawatts of all the renewables in the world are currently installed in North Africa. So it's tiny. So the potential for this region is absolutely huge. And of course, the potential not just for energy generation, but for the jobs that brings, for the sources of revenue that can bring, the business opportunities that can bring, the development opportunities that brings as well. So it's a really exciting bit of the world for renewable energy and one with a lot of potential. And it's also a region where, just to touch on a different angle, the sort of energy context is changing a lot. I've got a couple of graphs here just to show a couple of illustrative examples of countries, but indeed many countries across the region are very similar. This is Egypt and Algeria. And you can see that if you look at the population size, here is the blue line. It's going up fast. This is from 2012 to 2022. If you look at the electricity demand per capita, which is the sort of gold brown line, that's also heading up quickly. And that means that the electricity demand is also going up really fast, 33% up in Algeria, in Egypt, sorry, and even more in Algeria. And so really the energy landscape of the whole region is changing a lot. And that's why projects like what we're discussing today is so important, because the world is changing, and that requires action to address that. Many countries across the region have set very ambitious renewable energy targets, many of them aiming between 20 to even 50% share of renewables in the power mix by 2030. But there are a lot of hurdles to getting there, particularly around financing, but also around job creation, but also many opportunities, including around job creation, energy security, the potential to power new clean industries, which can produce exports. And in this context, the EU is a crucial partner for countries in the Southern Mediterranean. The EU already has very strong energy ties with the Southern Mediterranean, whether it's on fossil fuel imports or the growing number of electricity interconnector projects, or wider support to the energy industry in the Southern Med region. And this is looking like it's going to take a step up, which is really exciting. So the EU on Thursday this week will be launching its new Pact for the Mediterranean. And in a couple of months' time, we'll be following this up with a new trans-Mediterranean energy and clean tech cooperation initiative. It's a bit of a mouthful to say, but in short, the EU is working up some really exciting new strategies, which will be really taking this cooperation, we hope, up to the next level. And in that context, we as E3G and my colleague Lorena at ECHO have been doing a bit of thinking about what that improved cooperation could look like going forward. And with that, I will hand over to Lorena.
Thank you, Richard, and thanks to everyone who's here to listen to us. So yeah, indeed, in the past few months at ECHO and E3G, we've been conducting consultations with experts, governmental representatives, civil society, industrial representatives from both European countries and countries in the MENA region, with the main aim of outlining key components of the EU's toolbox for a more effective Mediterranean energy diplomacy in the framework of the broader revamping of the EU's approach towards the Mediterranean region that Richard has just rightly mentioned. So it was mentioned before by Yasmin. We have published a policy brief. I will try to type the link in the chat later on, and I will just go a few of the recommendations that we have come up with after the consultations that hinting at. So the first point regards just energy transition, which needs to play a central role at different level in this renewed EU energy in the Mediterranean. This entails structuring a transparent and inclusive energy cooperation with Southern Mediterranean partner countries, which requires first and foremost full clarity on future EU energy demand as a requisite to enable countries to develop future-proof and sustainable economic models. And of course, this regards EU demand, both the decline demand in gas and the demand in renewable energy. The second point, of course, regards cooperation on energy efficiency in partner countries, which needs to be part of the picture. And third, and very important point, is the need for the EU to provide tailored support for countries drifting away from fossil fuels, namely concerns EU oil and gas suppliers. So what we have highlighted is that by putting just energy transition at the core of its energy diplomacy, and by keeping on engaging with civil society in the region in the process, the EU can really build a competitive advantage in its approach towards the region. The second point regards the support for a renewable energy target, meaning that the EU should back a Mediterranean-wide renewable energy target, like, for example, the TerraMed goal, which is at reaching 1 terawatt of renewable generation capacity by 2030 in the region, in the Mediterranean region, of course, which represents a regionalization of the COP28 pledge to triple renewable energy and to double energy efficiency at the global level by 2030, as reaching 11 terawatts. So committing to regional targets such as the TerraMed one can help the EU to drive large-scale public and private investment in renewables in the whole region, but it can also help to make steps towards energy security, economic resilience, and sustainable development all across the Mediterranean basin. The third point regards the way we look at energy interconnectedness, which we point out means security and flexibility rather than being just a means to extract renewable energy in countries. A more connected, a more modernized grid, and bidirectional interconnectors would improve sales, they can lower costs, and they can enhance energy security across the region. Fourth point regards industry. We have highlighted in the policy brief how renewable energies are key to drive industrial growth, enhance local value creation and a labor-oriented energy transition. So we point out that renewable energy can fuel new local value chains and create new opportunities in industry, in manufacturing, in export, namely for those countries which are dependent on fossil export and that are looking to a diversified economy. New value chains fueled by renewable energy can really contribute to their economic diversification, to economic and also to promote stability across the whole region. This is why the EU should support in its renewed strategy towards the Mediterranean region clean industry and clean industrial cooperation with Mediterranean partner countries to local benefits with positive spillover for the EU geopolitical and geoeconomic objective towards the region, which includes also going towards competitive pan-Mediterranean supply chains in green industry and other green goods. The fifth point regards financing and the fact that the EU needs to mobilize its full toolkit to fund Mediterranean energy transition, including new finance, but also including raising the visibility of existing European funding to implementers and assisting partner countries to mobilize their own domestic financing. Final point regards how to plan and deliver this EU green energy diplomacy towards the Mediterranean. Because for all of this to succeed, we of course need to go increasingly towards a co-created and shared vision for the Mediterranean region, which does more its complexity, but embraces the commonalities that characterizes the whole basin. This requires countries shores of the Mediterranean in a win-win perspective, while also looking at the benefit of exploring trilateral cooperation with regional actors such as the Gulf countries. Finally, another key aspect is keeping climate of this renewed cooperation strategy, recognizing how climate-aligned cooperation is key to long-term security, stability, and development in the region. And we really hope that this will be reflected in the renewed EU strategy towards the Mediterranean. I'll just bring the floor back to Richard for some final conclusions.
Yeah, I will just be 30 seconds more, Yasmin, and then we will hand over. I know we're slightly over time. So just to wrap up, we provided an overview there of EU Southern Mediterranean cooperation on renewables in particular. And I think to bring this back to the context of clusters, as we're talking about today, everything Lorena just said about what needs to happen requires lots of different people working together. I think that's exactly why this cluster model is so important, bringing together lots of different actors across different fields to work together and put this cooperation into practice. If we can have more coordinated clusters, we can do things like better linking renewable energy generation in the Southern Mediterranean, not just to being a sort of extractivist thing where Europe takes energy from the Southern Mediterranean, but instead looking at this as a way of really developing new industries, new growth, new jobs, boosting the economy of countries across the region. Perhaps this even means things like looking at, as Lorena mentioned, joint supply chains, where we have products manufactured partly in the EU, partly in the Southern Med. This is the type of question that clusters can begin to address. In the interest of time, I will finish there and hand back to Yasmin. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard. I think you ended on a high note, and this is one of the points we'll be discussing today about how clusters could come together, the northern and southern clusters, and strengthen their position, especially the south-mid clusters, in the value chain, especially for the sake of the future. Dr. Adel, you're the guru of Industry 4.0, and I'm very pleased you'd be able to join us today. I'll leave the floor with you for 10 minutes to just map the South Med countries we're actually tackling under ECF project and their status quo when it comes to Industry 4.0 endorsement, the workforce potential overall, and how we can push forward, and then we can move to the following panels. Thank you, Dr. Adel. The floor is yours.
Okay. Are you seeing my...
Yes, but you need to put it in the presentation mode.
Okay.
Yeah, now we can see it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Yasmin. Thank you for the invitation, ERF, Anima, and all the organizer of this webinar. I'm working on Industry 4.0 since some years, and I had the chance to implement two projects. The project we have designed it for Morocco with UNIDO, and I was in the conception of the project, and also for Tunisia. So I have this chance to be in the field, not only from the analytical side. And I just would like to share with you some of the thoughts based on those two experience, and based also what is happening on Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, and other countries. So first, we need to, I have four key messages. First, Industry 4.0 is not a technological revolution, is technological change, but also a deep organizational change and the leadership and human resources change. And both the three are providing new results and things inside the firm. So we need not to think only about the technology, we need to think also about the organization, what is happening inside the organization, and the leadership also. Second, I think that one of the main problems of our economy in the South Med is this, we have a trap, and this trap not moving to higher revenues economy, mainly due of lack of structural transformation of our economies. And Industry 4.0 had the power to perhaps foster this structural transformation. Third, there is a prerequisite for this Industry 4.0, mainly to have an ecosystem and to build the ecosystem and to have the workforce. And for those two pillars, I will share some of the insight later. And finally, there is a global impact of Industry 4.0, and we need to be very careful because it's not the region only, it's worldwide. And as you are, it's one of the main point of the discussion today is the value change and the deep change in the value chain. So, it's a technology change with advanced automation, but also with the cyber physical system, Internet of Things, industrial Internet of Things, robotics, and other edge computing, cybersecurity. All these technology are coming together in the fifth wave of digital technology and provoking a change in the deep change in the economy. But the shift also is in organizational change, since the process are redesigned, and we are moving to data-driven decision-making, analytical scale, and analytical at scale. That means that more and more our decisions are based on the data, and we need to collect the data, and we need to take the decision based on the data. Also, we are moving to agile, lean, and continuous improvement culture. These also are the core of the model of Industry 4.0. And finally, we need to have for the Industry 4.0 project a clear vision, a strategy, and the governance. We need a strong governance for those technology in order to foster their uses, and the change management. And the other issue is also the ethics. Those technology are not neutral, and they need to be regulated, and we need to set the ethics. So this is more or less the core element. And if you see all of these technology, even renewable energy integration, smart mobile energy efficiency monitoring, etc., are part of Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 model integrate energy efficiency monitoring and renewable energy at the beginning of the model. So that means that moving to renewable, moving to more to saving technologies in matter of energy is part of the Industry 4.0. We have nowadays indexes in order to see the maturity of adoption of Industry 4.0. And when we use these indexes, we see that we are far from the frontier. If the frontier is 5, this is the Siri index. The best in class worldwide is the green line, and the green line is between 2 and 4. And the lagging behind firms are in red between 0 and 1, mostly are SMEs, these firms. And the core of worldwide industries are between 1 and 2. That means that really we are now in the phase of scaling up of industry-wide deployment of this technology, but we are not exploiting them to their limits. We are far from the limits. And even the best in class worldwide are far from the limits of these technologies. The message here, the key message is we will see in the future the big change. We are far from the big change. And perhaps this will take 1 or 2 decades in order to have the integration, the integration. So, and the integration needs to, it's not only about integrating the technology, it's also to change the talent readiness, is to change the leadership, is to change the governance of the firms. Most of the countries worldwide have now this framework for that means we have a kind of policy, and this policy starting from 2011 in Germany till now we have around 70 countries having a strategy for integration of Industry 4.0. And fortunately, the South Med countries are nowadays designing them in Tunisia and Morocco, and I think Egypt also is thinking about this, but to have a clear policies and a clear policy integrating everything. Mainly now, if we look at these technologies and how they will affect the market, the labor market. We had a big debate about the replacement hypothesis. And to be clear, firms like McKinsey, firms like the PwC, etc., they have exaggerated about the impact, especially in matter of replacement. So some of these firms were expecting 400 million to 800 million individuals could be displaced by automation. And and nowadays, when we see really the works, economics were indeed Acemoglu, among others, Aristotle and Acemoglu, we are seeing that this is not happening. But what is happening is a shift in the skills needed in all the jobs. This is the kind of works that we have in UNIDO 2017 about the jobs at high risk under Industry 4.0. But this kind of first works about this were a little bit, I think, exaggerated. Now what we are seeing is, the AI revolution and the fact that there is a potential of replacement of 30% of hours worked today in most of the job. Whatever is the job, we are seeing really a shift in the automation portion. And the main message is with this industry, we are changing the subtasks within the jobs. And here, 80% of the jobs will be impacted by this technology, AI, but not only AI, the other also, and the combination between the others. And more than 50% of tasks will be impacted. And this is what we will need. What kind of tasks will be changed? How we are going to challenge this change? How we are going to upskill the workers? How we need to reskill the workers? And it's impacting the entire economy. So this is the big challenge. If we look, for example, at here is if we look just at one of the technology, which is AI, and the AI preparedness, this is the work for the World Bank recently. Most of the countries, the South Med, are below the average, below 0.5. And there is not a big difference if you look at some of the countries in Europe, in the Northern Europe. And the best in class here is the US, as you are seeing. But mainly the problem is coming from the infrastructure. The deep blue that you are seeing here, the first blue, is the indicator of the infrastructure. So the problem is the preparedness of it's not about the skills. Even the skills, some of the country are doing good. And if you look at the other component of we are not so far, but now we need to see the sectoral and within the different sectors where we are. And as you see that some of the South-Med countries, they may be not performing well in some sector, but in other sector they are average, medium, or they can catch up. And this is where we need to put our forces. We need to put the forces where we have the most how can I say, readiness in order to improve the performance of those sectors. And this is very good work by the World Bank, showing that there are differences in the sectors, and the impact we need to really target the use of Industry 4.0 technology depending on your sectoral composition, and to put the accent on some sector, because there we will have more benefits. To wrap up, to my knowledge and experience, those technology, in order to integrate them, we need to build an ecosystem. The ecosystem is fragile for the moment for most of the South-Med countries. For the ecosystem, there is an actor which is key, and this actor is the startups. And I think that the startups are the link agent that they can bring this technology for the old economy. What I call the old economy is the big firms within the countries. And the link between the technology and these big firms, it may be done through these startups. And for the moment, the startups ecosystem is not well developed. Even we are seeing some of the performance, but the ecosystem is not ready yet. We have some issues with the workforce, because the education system is not able yet to challenge the technological change. The change within the education system is very slow compared to the change of the technologies. So we need something happening here. However, we are seeing that the private school and the private sector education are more able to challenge this technological shift. Third, we need several initiatives to build high-level skills for this technology, but also to not forget the intermediary skills. That means we need to have operator at the industrial sector within the firms with intermediary skills, and those ones needs also to integrate most of the new shift in the technology. The last one, and the more concerning for me, while Southern Med country are able to build some of the skills, perhaps are putting a lot of efforts in skilling, reskilling, upskilling some of the workforce. When those workforce are able to go to Europe and GCC, they leave very fastly. And we have a problem of retaining these skills. This is one of them. So we may put a lot of accent in order to build the ecosystem, to do all what we need to do. But at the end, how to retain the workforce with the big attractivity and the investment in Industry 4.0 in the GCC and in Europe. So these are some of the thoughts that I would like to discuss with you. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share these thoughts. Thank you, Yasmin.
Thank you, Dr. Adel. A very interesting presentation. I'm writing a lot of notes. I think it's very key that these concluding points are the points we'll try to, with the panelists today, with your help as the moderator, to discuss more. With regards to the endorsement of the industry solutions or integrating it in different industries, including energy. With Mr. Hisham over here from Tunisia, he will be of a great help. And I think Emmanuel also will be able to help us pinpoint the role of energy clusters, given all the information that's just said from Richard and Lorena, as well as from your presentation, pinpointing the bottlenecks. And also we'll be having Roberta from Medenair to tell us more about the project MeetMed and the solution that it has been providing through digital tools and financing tools as well for the South Med countries. So without any further delay, Dr. Adel, the floor is yours to moderate the first panel. And I just received an apology from Cluster Green H2 from Morocco. They are sincerely sorry, but unforeseen circumstances happen, and Mr. Murad will not be able to join us. So just this is the update from my end. Dr. Adel, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Yasmin. So I move from from speaker to moderator, and I would like to welcome Emmanuel, Roberta, and Hisham for this panel. Of course, we are going to discuss digital transformation industry 4.0 in the energy clusters. And we have, unfortunately, not the case of Morocco, but we will have more time in order to deepen the discussion with Emmanuel, Roberta, and Hisham. Let me start by presenting my three panelists. So I will start by Emmanuel Noutari, General Delegate, Anima Network. Emmanuel is the General Delegate of Anima Investment Network and the EuroMed Cluster Forward, ECF coordinator. He joined Anima team in Marseille in 2006 and to develop the network's activity in the field of innovation support. He oversaw Anima's contribution to the European program called the MEDIPTICAR, EuroMed Innovation and Technology Program, in which he enabled the creation of several business angel networks in Morocco, Tunisia, and Jordan. Since then, he has created and led several major projects at Anima on the promotion of investment and their impact for the territories. On the development of private sector, the mobilization of diaspora talent, the development of cluster, etc. So Emmanuel will be the first speaker. Then I will move to Roberta. Roberta is Boniotti. Since 2017, has been the Secretary General of Medenair, the Association of National Agencies for Energy Management in the Mediterranean region, a key stakeholder of the UFM Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Working Group, representing 13 countries from the northern and southern shores of the Mediterranean. Since 2010, she has been working as advisor on European and international affairs at ENEA, the Italian National Agency for New Technology, Energy and Sustainable Economic Development. In Brussels, maintaining key links with stakeholders in the EU institutions. Previously, she was a member of the board of directors and a member of the board of auditors in several private research and innovation companies in Italy, and head of the unit company relation management at ENEA headquarters in Rome. She is an economist, holds a master in business administration from the University of Bologna, and has more than 20 years of experience in the sector of energy, the environment, and sustainable economic development. She is ENEA's representative in the network of European National Energy Agencies, the Italian delegate of EUATCP Decarbonizing Cities, the Italian member of the Executive Working Group TAFTI, the European Association and leading National Innovation Agency, and member of the control group of ESSS. the innovation platform, sustainable city and ocean solution. So yeah, very proud to have Roberta with us. Finally, Hisham. Hisham, he's very modest. He has sent me 3 lines about his CV, but Hisham, I know him closely. Hisham is an Industry 4.0 and an artificial intelligence team leader at Digital Transformation Center, Tunisia. He holds extensive expertise in digital transformation, Industry 4.0, artificial intelligence, and IT project management. He's leading the activities nowadays for the GIZ in Tunisia in matter of Industry 4.0, and I'm really happy to have him here. So let me start by posing the question to Emmanuel. Key policy and or partnership mechanism could help integrate SouthMed energy cluster into European initiatives on clean tech and renewable energy, and ensure that local SMEs and innovators benefit from cross-Mediterranean collaboration.
Control technologies. Well, I will be rather short, not to make it too descriptive, but first of all, the sector scene of this sector in the region, I would say it's significant, but not yet as important as it could be. If you look the map of the clusters in this region, you have 15%. Overall, you have 80 clusters in the South Mediterranean countries, out of which 15% of them, so yeah, almost 15, are in the energy and clean energy sectors. When it comes to clean tech, it's only 1% of the cluster. So you have very few clusters dedicated to this environment, transition, and clean tech and waste, etc. And it's true that they are most developed in Morocco than in the other countries. However, you have a lot of clusters in ICT, and ICT also will serve many sectors as a transversal need, and including the energy, and so it's important to know that 20% of the clusters in this region are in the ICT sectors. I would say there are 2 categories of countries in this green tech, clean tech sectors. Those who have, I would say, clear strategies and clear objectives. The development could be differentiated, but I would say that Egypt, Morocco, and Tunisia are engaged in this domain. In Egypt, you have 8 clusters that are more or less related to these sectors. You have regulations in place in the country. You have a strategy from the government, from the state in this domain. When we look at the way Egypt has developed the new cities recently over the last 10 years in the country, you can see that sustainable construction has taken place. The concern with energy was a concern of Egypt when developing this huge project of new cities. So I would say that Egypt is well engaged in this domain, with the objective from the states to have 53% of renewable energy by 2035. So there is a strategy. Same is in Morocco, where you have 9 clusters in these sectors. Again, national strategy, national frameworks, dedicated institution research, as well as in hydrogen created in this sector. So you can see that there is a strategy. It's a bit less ambitious, and again with an objective of having half of the energy coming from renewables on a quite short term. In Tunisia, the objective is a bit lower. It's 35% of renewables in 2030. However, you have 7 clusters involved in these sectors. You have a trust fund that is that is supporting MSMEs in their migration toward renewables, toward the migration to renewable energy. So I would say these three countries are well engaged. Then you have country where you can see a political will, but at the moment it's still at the stage of a new strategy or new will. First come Algeria, with only 2 clusters in this domain. At this stage, no regulation. Obviously, it's a country which depends at 95% of the fossil energy. So there is a will to organize this new strategies. There is legal framework on the table, but it's not yet really started. Same in Jordan, where the dependence from import of energy is very high in Jordan, and where you can see that there is a will, but it's still ongoing. Then come Lebanon, where you have 4 clusters involved in this domain, and where we see hardly that it's a priority for the government. Obviously, we know the situation of Lebanon for the past years. So the action plan and the framework is under preparation. However, you can see, and as we can see in Lebanon, in every sector, organic private sector initiatives, especially in the solar that are existing in different parts of the country. Same is in Palestine, where you can see organic initiative from companies that develop solar or wind energy, but at the moment the structuration of the ecosystem is not existing in Palestine. That's it for the introduction of the discussion. What I can say, if you ask me for the recommendation, basically, and you mentioned it in your presentation, we need to homogenize the regulation in this sector, especially in this green sectors. Especially if you want to work in cooperation with neighbor countries, you cannot have regulation that are different from a country to another. Otherwise, a country may attract all the operators that do not want to comply with certain level of practices of compliance with environment and with energy mix. So there is a need to homogenize the regulation. Therefore, definitely establishing a dialogue between regulators, promoting best practices in terms of regulation from a country to another, helping countries to homogenize and to develop new regulations. It's very important, and there is an expectation from the South Mediterranean countries to have this support from Europe. There is a strong need also from enterprise to have access to expertise in this field of energy transition, green transition, fight against climate change, and so matching the expertise, monitoring where the expertise is, and matching it with the companies, and this is the case as well for digital and Industry 4.0 actually. So connecting the companies in the South Mediterranean with expertise in this field is important, and again, EU supported initiative could play a role in that domain. So I explained already on best practice promotion and best practice benchmarks, etc., between countries to get inspiration from the neighbors. It's very important. Finally, there is a need from technology partnerships, tech transfer, joint R&D, even FDI for indirect investment that would bring technology to the country. It's something we need to work for and promote, because there is a need for technology in this sector, and this technology could be developed in partnership, especially if we are thinking about also being a sovereign, Europe or Africa in this domain, and probably same for technology and AI. Europe and Africa should think about their sovereignty and probably develop joint initiative, joint project, joint research to be more resilient and sovereign in this domain. This comes me to a final point on the carbon tax at the border of the EU, the CBAM. We were a bit annoyed to see that this carbon tax at the moment is not including the scope 3, which means it's not excluding the scopes, the transport, the emission of carbon and gas, warehouse gas in the carbon in the transport. I'm sorry. Which means that at the moment, a product that is manufactured in Vietnam or Mexico or Tunisia or Egypt will have the same tax at the border of the EU. That's an issue that we are taking very seriously, because that means that this carbon tax is not supporting shorter value chains and regional value chains in the Mediterranean at the moment. And as I said, there are discussions today at the Parliament for which we wish to have an influence so that they can include a distance dimension in the calculation of this tax, so that this CBAM can really favor shorter value chains. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Yeah, you have very well highlighted the need of harmonization of the regulation and to connect with the expertise and the joint R&D, especially on those elements, and how the European Union and your project yourself and your the network you are leading are trying to provide some solution for this. I'm going to move to Roberta and to ask her perspective from the Med-DENER perspective. How you are challenging, how you are facilitating the integration of the South Med and North Med energy cluster into competition and a competitive and interconnected energy market. Your perspective, Roberta, without any more.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for inviting me to this very important seminar with really timely discussions, especially at the moment about the Mediterranean. You know that Med-DENER, you already introduced me. Thank you very much. And I represent the Med-DENER Association of 13 energy agencies in the Mediterranean. We are currently also enlarging the participation. And I want to say that we work closely with RECRE, the Regional Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, based in Egypt, representing 17 countries of the League of Arab States. And together we work in particular at the MeetMed project, that's mitigation enabling energy transition in the Mediterranean region. First of all, I would like to say to Director Handoussa that I will be participating in the high-level EU-Egypt event on the 22nd of October. There are great expectations also to reinforce the collaboration and to have more investments in Egypt, also more industrial collaboration. So I'm looking forward to participating to this event. About your questions, I would say that first of all, it's important a greater regulatory convergence in the Mediterranean region, and this is essential to build a cohesive framework, to connect the energy clusters, to boost the competitiveness, to support the shift to a sustainable low carbon energy market. Regulatory convergence is really essential. We are part of the UFM, the Union for Mediterranean, and particularly we represent a working group in the UFM Energy Platform. Together with RECRE, and this is a platform that facilitates political dialogue. And we work closely with MEDREG, the Association of Mediterranean Regulators. They play a key technical role in harmonizing energy regulations, and the UFM represents the political dialogue. But unlikely the EU, where the energy directives are mandatory, Regulatory convergence in the Mediterranean is is on a voluntary basis. And so in this case, making collaboration is even more important. It's very important to collaborate from the technical point of view from the different institutions. And in particular, stakeholders like Mediterranean and RECRE are vital. Through our joint initiative, the MeetMed, we work for regulatory convergence from our point of view, from the technical point of view of the experts in energy efficiency and renewable energy. And for example, we've been working until now in the second phase of the MeetMed project to align building codes, appliance labeling, energy performance standards, and many other aspects. And we want to reduce technical barriers and foster really a unified market. In the third phase of the MeetMed project, we'll be continuing our concerted actions. Concerted actions are in Europe dedicated to the European directives, especially in renewable energy, buildings, and energy efficiency, but they have to be transposed into national legislation, while in the Mediterranean, this is not mandatory. So we will continue with our concerted actions that do not foresee mandatory actions from a legal point of view, but that will try to harmonize legislation and and in particular the enforcement of the legislation in the building sector, so with the construction industry. And we would like to expand the concerted action to industry and especially to SMEs to promote harmonized energy efficiency policies, not just in the big companies. Usually also in Europe, energy efficiency policies in the industry field are dedicated to big industries, but this has also to be done at the level of SMEs. So the technical collaboration is relevant. This technical collaboration lays the groundwork for deeper regulatory convergence, together with the regulators and with the UFM. This is the whole framework. The stable regulatory environment also attracts investment, as we know. And in the MeetMed, we launched the Mediterranean Sustainable Energy Investment Forum initiative. And this is an example of putting together different stakeholders, private sector, bankers, technical experts, ministries, and decision makers. And in the next phase, we're exploring a common regional taxonomy to support financing, as this is very important at regional level to have integration and cooperation. Also, regulatory alignment strengthens the energy security, enabling cross-border infrastructure, and this is important also for energy security in our region. And finally, it encourages innovation. We are working at district cooling, for example, water energy nexus strategies, and they are crucial for tackling climate change and water scarcity. So the regulatory convergence is not just a technical goal, but it's a strategic enabler for sustainability, resilience, and regional cooperation.
Dr. Adel, you're muted.
Thank you so much, Roberta, for your insight. I know that Dr. Hiba has some comments, but I wonder if we can finish with the Hisham perspective. Then I will open the floor for Dr. Hiba. And so I let Hisham just make his 7-minute speech and perspective from Tunisia. And then Dr. Hiba, you will open the floor for the discussion and the interaction with Roberta, since she mentioned that she will be in Egypt and she will advocate for Egypt. Hisham, you have the floor before moving to Dr.
Thank you, Mr. Adel. Hello, everyone. First of all, I'm very happy to be with you today. So thanks for the invitation and for the organization. And I'm sorry for the team. I was so late for responding to this invitation. But I'm really happy to be with you today to speak about our digital transformation center in Tunisia, created by it's a project by GIZ Tunisia here in Tunisia. It's the Tunisian German cooperation. So we work first of all in many topics in Industry 4.0 and on AI and etc. So the idea today is to speak about, let's say, the Industry 4.0 with our digital center. So, Dr. Adel, should I pass directly to the question, or I can make the presentation?
Yes.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Directly, I gave you the floor.
Okay. So the idea today is maybe I can share my screen to know about our Industry 4.0. I don't know if
I
I
think
can do it.
Go ahead,
Can you
Hisham.
see my
Please remind you that you have the 7-8 minutes.
7? Okay, yeah, that's it. So the idea is to we have already created 5 competence centers in Tunisia in Industry 4.0 to help SMEs and clusters to move through Industry 4.0. So the idea is to advise them and to make a readiness check together to know about their maturity in the Industry 4.0. And after that, we have to implement project pilots in these SMEs and make a digital transformation roadmap about their shop floor. So after that, we have to move on to change management and training for these startups and for these SMEs. So this is the idea about that. So as we speak about our digital transformation center, so our mission has been to make digitalization Industry 4.0, and it was including this reality for small for SMEs, including of course energy sector. So after creating these centers, we have already supporting more than 100 SMEs across Tunisia in conducting digital maturity assessment and developing solutions. Many of these companies have implemented now IoT-based monitoring system, energy management software, carbon footprint management solution, and predictive maintenance solution. So these practical steps have led to measurable results. For example, several factories with these competence centers has reduced their energy consumption by up to 15% through data-driven production optimization. In parallel, we worked closely with the Ministry of Industry to develop the Industry 4.0 roadmap and build national capacity. So over than 1,000 engineers, technicians, and managers were trained in smart manufacturing, digital strategy, and data analytics, ensuring, of course, that skills development goes hand in hand with technology adoption. What really made this successful is the ecosystem approach. So we have connecting SMEs with startups, with research center and technology provider to co-develop their tailored solution. This model has proven that digital transformation is achievable even for smaller firms when the right partnerships and support mechanisms are in place. Of course, this success is really it can be, of course, scalable for the South Med countries. So we need, of course, to work together. We need to replicate this ecosystem logic by creating maybe regional digital transformation hub linked to industrial clusters. So ultimately, digital transformation is a regional opportunity for us in the South Mediterranean countries. It's a way to modernize industries, reduce energy intensity, and to prepare SMEs to compete in the global green and the digital economy. This is the first part of my intervention. After that, I want to speak about the clusters. So the clusters is playing a key role in this journey. They can serve as collaborative learning ecosystem where SMEs work together with startups and university also and share knowledge to co-develop digital solution and access talent. Through initiative by like our project, we have seen that combining technology adoption with targeted upskilling programs helps SMEs move up the value chain, integrate into international supply chain, and become more competitive and resilient. That's the idea about that. So maybe I speak about maybe connecting some clusters. I have the chance to meet, for example, industry for Egypt, for example, cluster in the GITEX Berlin, and we have discussed the synergy between the two countries to co-develop, let's say, more solutions together and to serve the ecosystem in Egypt and Tunisia, also with the competence center of automation in Morocco, the digital innovations hub in Algeria. So it's a real opportunity to us and for our SMEs to work together to have more solutions and to have more competitiveness for our SMEs. So that's it from my part, Adel. I think
Thank you so much.
The time.
Yeah,
And thank you.
the task is easier in Tunisia since the ministry is the Ministry of Industry and Energy. So it makes all the two, and under the same ministry we have the two. So two hat and the Industry 4.0. One of the key finding and key things that we have pointed is the need to save energy and to direct this. And since that, several firms and startups were able to develop knowledge that transferred from a sector to another. Very briefly, Dr. Hiba, she wants to interact with Roberta. I know I'm seeing Yasmin that you want me to push and to go to the other. No, it's okay. So, Dr. Hiba, please.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to say something to Roberta Bognotti.
Yes.
Dear Roberta, I was very impressed to read what your experience has been to date. And I think it would be essential for us in Egypt to take advantage of your experience. When you are in Cairo or before you come to Cairo, please let me know, because if you agree to meet with our Minister of Industry, I'm an industrial economist, and I've been helping our industry ministry forever, since I was studying. So if you allow me to be in touch with you and tell you what are precise areas where you seem to be totally at it in terms of supporting these issues and problems we have, to go ahead. We have absolutely no help for the informal sector. None, absolutely none. So all of the informal sector in industry is ignored. It gets absolutely no privileges. And I'd like you to come with several arms in your hands. Please, Roberta.
Yeah.
We need you.
Thank you very much.
Just let me know ahead of time when you'll be here, and I'll make the
Yes,
arrangements.
soon I will be in Cairo because we start our MeetMed Project 3, and it will be for sure after this high-level meeting where we will discuss about the strategic investment, the special corridor EU-Egypt, the industrial transformation, and the innovation, and the need for skill, reskill, upskill, and Medenair is strongly involved also in the skills development. We need the workforce, and I liked very much the sentence from Mr. Ben Youssef, we need to retain the workshop. They don't have to go away. So we'll be working at industrial level, and I will be very pleased to meet you in Cairo as soon as possible.
Let me know about the period and which particular day would suit you, and I'll arrange it with the ministry, please.
Yes,
Thank you
for sure.
so much.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hiba. Always committed since several years to push for Egypt and for the region in order really that our industries upgrade. And I remember so many years before we're working under ERF for upgrading our industrial sectors and those policies. So Roberta, many thanks for your talk. Hisham, also, I know I would like to extend it. Some of the comments just in the chat saying that they are appreciating, let me just, they are happy to be part of the discussions and to attend this seminar. Unfortunately, given the time imposed by Yasmin, we need to move to the other panel. But really, this what Hisham has said, that we are seeing the connection between some clusters in the south, and you are already discussing with some of the clusters in Egypt, in Algeria, in Morocco. We need really to push. We need to apologize for also Mr. Notary, who has left because had another commitment. But we need to link also with Roberta work. We know that really the agencies are doing very well nowadays. And yeah, this is just a starting point, and we need to continue the discussion. So thank you so much. We need to move.
Thank you. I should just mention our two tools, digital tools, the finance navigator and energy modeling tools that are very relevant. We developed the tools in the MeetMed 3, in the MeetMed 2 project. They are dedicated, one to the finance, the second one more dedicated for web tools for buildings or decision support systems at the level of the countries, and they will be further developed in our third phase. They could be very useful for the energy clusters, but our next step will be to have implementation at local level. Medenair and Recre will become the Covenant of Mayors Mediterranean, so it's important to be in touch with the local authorities, with the SMEs, with the territory to make really the energy transition effective and implemented at the local level. Thank you, and sorry for this last sentence.
No, I'm extending. I'm giving also the floor to Hisham for his last minute talk, if he wants to add something.
Thank you, Adel. Thank you, Roberta, Mrs. Hiba, and Yasmin for this organization. I have just an open invitation for all the team to come to Tunisia in November to the Global AI Congress for Africa in Sousse and Tunis, and I will be very happy to help him to receive them here in Tunisia if they want any help from us, from GIZ or from Innovation City. So I will share the link for Global AI Congress for Africa, and I hope to see you soon there. With the clusters of energy and other cluster in Industry 4.0. Thank you, Adel, for this invitation.
Yeah, but you have not invited me. You have invited Yasmin.
You are one of the team, I think.
Okay.
You are an organizer.
Thank you, Hisham. Thank you, Hisham.
Thank you very much.
Please And let's move forward with our next panel, so the last panel that we have. Yeah, for the next panel, we are going to discuss a very important topic, which is workforce development and partnership for cluster competitiveness. This is fundamental to develop the workforce. And yeah, for this discussion, we will have from MedGem, see Mustafa Taoumi. We will have from the European Training Foundation, Cristina Moreta. And of course, Dr. Vito Intini from UNDP Arab States, and Noha El Balki from Egyptian Resource Efficiency Clusters. So in order to not waste time, I will propose that they present themselves very briefly, and then to move to the talk, because we have lost a lot of time, and we need really to be on time for the last of for this last panel. So I'm really happy to receive you all. I will start by Mustafa Touami by presenting himself, and then to ask about the question of bridging the skills gap is essential for the energy cluster, for the Mediterranean in general. And I would like to know his analysis about the recent development of this skills gap analysis, and how we are catching or not catching on this. So, Mr. Mustafa, you have the floor for 7 minutes talk, and by starting by presenting yourself and the institution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adel, and warm greeting to all the colleagues and participants. It's a pleasure to be part of this discussion, and thank you for the invitation. My name is Mustafa Taoumi. I'm the key expert within the MedGem network and the deputy team leader. It's a EU-funded project and implemented by GIZ International Services in Brussels. So the main mission, it's very simple, but it's a bit ambitious, to accelerate the deployment of renewables, green hydrogen, the Port-to-X technology across the South Mediterranean countries, by connecting people, policymakers, expertise, but also opportunities. Through MedGem, we work to bring together all those people in one framework, in one place, so that innovation and skills grows hand in hand with technology. Now, as you mentioned, Dr. Adel, in your presentation, we speak about Industry 4.0. We are really talking about the digital transformation of the industry, and energy is part of it. In this sector, particularly sensitive and strategic sector, as we know, particularly in the green hydrogen field, the Industry 4.0 is already changing the way we design, the project, the way we operate, and also to maintain the asset. We are seeing the use of digital tools for remote monitoring, for predicting also maintenance, also using robots for cleaning, for detecting, failures. And the real-time data analysis, that is very important, because we need data, and we need, all those, a framework for certification, for, also for the effectiveness and the efficiency of the plants. So that is, I think, all those things demand a new generation of skills. So from our perspective, the challenge today is not only, the fast technology move or evolve, but how fast our workforce can adapt to those new technologies. because technology on its own does not drive transformation. It's people who do this transformation. So in our perspective, the people and skills should be prioritized as we are doing for project. We are, assessing how many projects we have, how many MOUs we signed, but I'm not sure that we have real statistics on how we need as jobs or we need as skills on all the levels, not only on the expertise or on the engineers, but also the technicians, all those people that are, working the civil work in all the aspect of a projects. So with this in mind, the MedGem conducted, as you mentioned, skill gap analysis across several southern Mediterranean countries to understand where the main challenge lies. So that I think we found some very interesting, outcomes and findings. First, there's a mismatch between what is being thought and what the emerging hydrogen industry actually needs. Many training programs still focus on conventional energy with little attention to hydrogen system, digital controls, smart grids, or safety aspects. And second, there is a clear shortage of technicians because we are maybe focusing more on the high level, graduation as engineers, doctors, but on the technician we are maybe lacking, those trainees and the mid-level professional. While engineers are being trained, we lack the skilled operators, as in our Arab countries, the engineer cannot do the technician work and vice versa. So we need those technicians, the middle level professionals to operate, to install, to maintain all those systems that are in work in the field of green hydrogen. So that is, I think, why we try to identify, some initiatives, and we precisely launched the Edu Hub. It's a multilingual open access learning platform dedicated to training and knowledge in green hydrogen and power-to-X. So you can access it. I will share it with you through the chat, through the MedGem website, and we have a dedicated platform. So this Edu Hub brings together more than 80 curated learning resources developed by trusted partners like TÜV, the Academy, RENAC, DNV, Certify as a certification scheme, the Power-to-X Hub, Academy, and others. So what make Edu Hub special is the structure and the accessibility. It's offered 9 thematic areas covering the entire hydrogen chain, and we are targeting the technician professional as engineers and technicians, but also policy and management actors like regulators and planners, and also support staff, including operators and logistics operations. So that is, I think, not just a library of courses, but it's a living knowledge platform or ecosystem, as you can notice this through the platform. It's designed to grow with the region needs and to make high quality training accessible to everyone, not only for those who are already working, but also the youth people that are are still in the university or in the engineering schools, on the technician institutes. So that can be, initiative that's all the initiative that we are now hearing about, the TMED or the Pact of the Mediterranean, the Global Gateway, all those, initiatives coming from the EU can be leveraged with this kind of platform. And maybe one of the recommendation is to have, a kind of observatory, because in our sense, we as I mentioned, we lack, data, accurate data. How many jobs we will create in 5, 10 years? How many skills we have to educate, and we have to maybe upskill. We have to be aware about those gaps in data and availability of trusted data, not only on the project, because people now they are hearing a lot of promises, a lot of projects in the pipe, but they are not seeing real opportunities for job. That is, I think, we have also to manage our messages, and we are maybe lacking, some incentives for those youth people. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mustafa, for your insight. And the point of the data is very important, because we are lacking this. And even when we are working about skills and building these skills, we are still lacking data in order really to see where we need to go and how to build these skills, etc. I'm moving to Christina. Christina, I'm really happy to have the European Training Foundation with us during this webinar, and to understand better your work on this energy sector, which is very, very skill-intensive sector. So, how you are seeing these needs in matter of construction and building these skills for the future in the Mediterranean, and how you can help the South Mediterranean countries within this skills gap, especially for the energy sector and the renewable energy sector. So, 30 seconds or 1 minute to present yourself and the ETF, and then we move to the talk, Christina.
Thank you very much, and it's really an honor to be here, and it's really such an interesting discussion for me, coming also from Eastern Europe, country, a member of the European Union, but still we struggle with exactly the same challenges when it comes to talent retention, talent attractiveness, and job attractiveness, and how to make sure that this energy transition is serving everyone, be it companies, but also be it individuals. I represent the European Training Foundation, which is the only European Union agency working outside the European Union. So we are supporting the countries from Middle East, Northern Africa, Southeast Europe, Eastern Europe, Central Asia, and beyond on human capital development areas, namely education, training, and employment policies. Lately, we have focused a lot on the impact of technological changes and these sectorial transformations on the education and training systems, and of course on human capital. Therefore, what I will share now is I build now more or less on what we have done in terms of research, because this is an important component of ETF work, and somehow also echoes the previous speaker point about the data availability, intelligence to make the right decision making in a way, and orientation of education and training. So we have invested a lot in generation of insights regarding the future of work and the future of skills. But then we are also focusing on the dissemination and making sure that education and training system evolve, and they are built on cooperation of stakeholders, to make sure that the results of this evidence, of this research, are quickly or faster, let's say, transposed into curricula, into qualification standards, updates, into policies that are helping job seekers and also people that are in vulnerable situation access education, training, and also employment opportunities. So in a nutshell, I would say that definitely all the speakers have revealed this element of, to some extent, as a labor market specialist and also working a lot on skills anticipation, I would say a bit of volatility is not easy to deal. We see every day that there are changes regarding the tariffs, but also the regulatory framework, and us as working on human capital development is not easy to read the future, allow me to say it this way. And this would only somehow underline again and again that the component of intelligence, of skills and labor intelligence, it's needed more than ever, but also we need to enhance this regular analysis and regular input into the policy making. I'm really grateful that I'm here also for, and I have to confess that I use a lot of the Economic Research Forum resources for data, for also accessing micro data that are critical for creation of this more granular evidence about the sectorial demand, in this case of energy sector. And this is critical. So what I would underline as a message would be that really we need to make an effort all together. And I think you as sectorial experts, you are the most somehow exposed to sometimes difficulty to access data, to access statistics, or to have also resources for evidence generation. I have to confess that we also face this kind of difficulties. Therefore, we also invested in the online job vacancy platforms to understand exactly and faster what are the changes into the labor market in a faster mode, and also real-time and direct observation of the labor market changes. I would warn as a specialist again that sometimes the OJV, the online job vacancies, are to some extent biased because we capture only a part of the labor market. But all in all, allow me now to share also a bit of metrics, what we have observed, and I will share also in chat the let's say the respective studies. What we see in terms of our work in Egypt, in Tunisia, in Morocco, but not only, because in the end, if I could say, these are global trends and global drivers that are impacting more or less the sectors in the same way. What we see here is that the demand for green and digital goes hand in hand, and this has been already underlined. We see an increase in the demand for technical, if I would say skills in the energy, water, waste management, and constructions. While when it comes to renewable, we noticed, and this is what we see from our evidence, is that the energy efficiency and also this capacity of companies to apply ISO 14001 standard is also changing the demand for specific skills. An important message that has been already underlined, but I would like to underline it myself as well. From our knowledge and evidence, we see that the demand for green skills or green occupations outstrips the supply. Hence, the important message of really investing in quick generation of new skills. And this we have as a solution, the upskilling and reskilling of the existing workforce. So in the end, policymakers, but also these initiatives that are here presented would maybe need to deal with two difficult objectives at the same time. reform and update of the initial education and training curricula and programs, referring specifically to universities and also upper secondary education, vocational education and training, but at the same time, acceleration of the opportunities for adult learning, training, retraining, validation of skills. Not easy, I mean, easy to say, difficult to say, to employ. In Egypt specifically, because this was your question also in the background, I would just underline that what we see in terms of emerging job profiles for this energy transition, there are three main categories: the high-skilled technological occupations, and this is about engineers, but also technicians. The second would be more into the medium to low skilled technical occupations, plant operators, also welders and all these other types of more, let's say, medium to low skilled occupations. And finally, we have this transversality, which is about business service related occupations and so on. So I would stop here with my reflection, and then maybe we have another moment to continue our dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christina, for all your insight. And I will just mention the need to tackle digital and green skills at the same time. So my piece is here about is the twin transition. And we need really to tackle this twin transition, especially in the South. And also to focus on vocational training, because this is one of our weakness, is to reform the vocational system in order to produce in large numbers the needed skills for these sectors. Let me move now to our third speaker. So, Mrs. Noah El-Balki, sorry, from Egyptian Resource Efficiency Clusters. You are going to speak about this experience. And I wonder if you can present yourself first, and then to present also the Egyptian Resource Efficiency Cluster, before moving to the same questions: how we build the skills and how Egypt is doing on this.
First of all, thank you, Dr. Adel. It's a pleasure to join this important webinar. Egyptian Resource Efficiency Cluster, ERIC, is an initiative supported by Federation of Egyptian Industries, FEI, and the Environmental Compliance Office and Sustainable Development. The cluster mission is to catalyze growth and innovation within Egypt's resource efficiency sector by fostering collaboration between private sector, academia, and government. First, about the question, through its integrated approach, combining access to finance, green transition support, and strategic partnership, ERIC has been enhancing the competitiveness of its members, companies, and helping enterprises to adopt some of the cleaner production methods, as well as improve energy, and water efficiency, and also applying by searching for green finance and supporting with green finance, implementing some renewable energy projects for the private sector, as well as implement some of the circular economy models. Also, we enable business to reduce cost, increase productivity, and comply with both international and local sustainability standards. Also, we have a partnership with some international organization, financial institution, and technology providers, as well as we have some projects with ANIMA for technology transfer, and also it's allow us to move our cluster member to visit different countries and have a study tours outside to visit similar companies and sharing experiences. As well as we offer a networking and knowledge sharing platform, have created a collaborative ecosystem for the industries to change practical solutions and success stories, accelerating the overall green transformation of Egypt's manufacturing sector. However, for sure, for further strengthen the position of Egyptian SMEs in local and global markets, we needed particularly improving access to green finance. I agree with Emmanuel. We need also to improve the access for green finance, enhancing digital transformation, which is very important nowadays, and also supporting international certification, labeling, as well as establishing incentive mechanism for resource efficient industries, developing policy framework that encourage green investment, and also highlighting the new regulations which affects the exporting from EU now, like CBAM and the Green Deal and so on. So there is also some of the new regulations some of the SMEs don't know anything about. So we need more awareness about our new regulation or the new regulation by EU. I will go for the skills and workforce for the green and digital transition. Sure, now Egypt advances towards green and digital economy. Also, some of our members, also the digital companies, with the rule of the digitalization. The most critical skills for the workforce include energy and resource efficiency management, circular production practices, environmental auditing, life cycle assessment, and data-driven decision making using digital tools and AI. Equally important, soft skills such as thinking, system thinking, innovation management, and the ability to integrate sustainability across business operation. So we are actively addressing the needs for its capacity building program and training initiatives, which combine technical knowledge with practical application in factories. Also, we are also enhancing the vocational training for the workers itself in the factories. Also, we combine like some practical application in factories and the industrial zone. Also, we trying to move success stories from sector to sector or from in the same sector itself, and we choose big companies to be like a role model for the rest of the SMEs. Also, we are collaborate with the universities, vocational institution, and international expert to deliver targeted training in some topics like cleaner production, eco-design, digitalization in manufacturing. As well as by fostering continuous learning and promoting collaboration among private sector, academia, and government, the triple helix model, which we are working on ERIC, helping to develop a new generation of skilled professional capable for the Egypt green industrial transformation. And also we in ERIC very keen for looking for new partnership, new training modules, and any opportunities for increase the awareness and the knowledge for our members. The triple helix, which is government and academia as well as SMEs, I think it's very important for linking the three pillars together. So we have some R&D between our members from universities and the SMEs, and also it is really helping so much for the training and for what is they need. We look for sure technical transfer, technology transfer, which will be very, very important. And also we are working now in localizing the renewable energy in the continent of Africa. So it is like our dream now. We are working with different countries, with different partners, just how to build a roadmap, how we can localize the renewable energy component within the continent of Africa. Thank you very much. I'm looking for any questions.
Thank you so much, Noah, for your talk and for highlighting what your center are doing. and especially in tackling this twin transition, digital and green transition in Egypt, and to foster the interaction between the different stakeholders within the ecosystem. And you are building already the new skills for Egypt. My last speaker is Vito. Happy to see him again. Vito is going to present himself, but he's working at the UNDP Arab States. And UNDP is doing several works across the Arab states on highlighting the way of how sustainable finance, sustainable also development is going through the different countries, and with a special focus on workforce development for this twin transition, digital and green transition. So based on all those works that you are doing now, Vito, I would like that first you present yourself for the wider community, because we have people in the chat today and attending today not knowing you yet. And second, to highlight the key messages from those studies of UNDP about the green and digital transition.
Thank you very much, Adel. Hello, colleagues. So I'm Vito Intini. I'm the regional chief economist for UNDP in the Arab States region. I started my career in the academia and then moved to different organizations like World Bank, OECD, different UN agencies, half of my career in this region. So let me start with actually a very breaking news, because this webinar has been very timely while connecting and discussing in this webinar. The new Nobel Prize for Economics have been announced, and they are Mokir, Agion, and Ahoit, who have been working on innovation as a driver of long-term growth. So, which is exactly the area that a lot of the points that have been raised and we have been discussing. This tells us how important is, particularly in this region, as I'll be saying in a few minutes, the aspect of knowledge economy innovation that cut across both the two transitions, the twin transition, the green and digital transition. Why that is critical, based on all our analysis and what we heard today, is that the amount of displacement of jobs and creation of jobs will depend on multiple factors. Those factors or dimensions would be the number of tasks within jobs that are going to be transformed, the number of jobs within companies and firms that are going to be affected, but also the number of firms within sectors and within regions, because the territorial dimension is as critical. We always need to remember the territorial aspects of any displacement and job creation aspect, but also the type of sectors and regions that are going to be affected in a national economy, and then the value chains that are within the national economy and across. All these different dimension scales are one part of the productive, let's say the productive consideration of this, but there are also social considerations, because the way the green and digital transition is going to affect the productive aspects also propagates to social considerations, which is basically the impact on men and women. In this region, this is particularly important. When you look at women increasing graduates in the STEM sector, female graduates, but then you don't see yet the translation of these graduates into new jobs, formal jobs, well-paid jobs, that's one important consideration always to bear in mind. And then you see also the potential wage premium that you might see for men in the green and digital and AI sectors, but we are seeing some early signals of potential wage premium for women that, of course, could be an enabler or an accelerator of more equal treatment, particularly for the skills sector, between the two, between men and women. And then there is a third dimension looking into the social aspects, which is the formal and the informal economy dimension. We used to think in the past that male will work in the either informal or formal sector, whereas women will tend to work in formal public sector. Skilled workforce will work in the formal sector, unskilled workforce in the informal. But the patterns are changing. Across the countries in the region, those are not, let's say, strict kind of dynamics that are anymore. You might well start seeing skilled workforce working in the informal sector. And as a matter of fact, when you look at a number of analyses that are done, particularly correlation between labor productivity and key dimensions related to education, they are not always positively correlated. And I will dwell on this in a second. The second aspect is a potential divergence in the region that we need to be aware of and try to close the gap from the very start, where you see the Gulf region investing heavily on Industry 4.0 and on green transition, like hydrogen and so on and so forth. And the rest of the region needs to be supported in order not to lag behind. And going back to what Adel was saying, the interconnection between green transition, AI, and digitalization, that could be that interconnection, which is complex, could be a further, let's say, engine of inequality across the region and within countries in the region. So this is a bit of the background, but there are also areas for optimism. When you look at the latest World Economic Forum report and you look at the prospect for talent availability, this region ranks the highest globally. So entrepreneurs are basically optimistic that the youth bulge might be used to that effect in a positive, constructing way. So that is an important component for policy makers to think and bear in mind. Then I was saying labor productivity. When you look across the region, trends in labor productivity, with a few exceptions that normally historically have been Algeria, Egypt, other countries have been either stagnating or going down. Of course, conflict instability plays a very important role. But then you see in those countries, particularly North African countries, the service sector being driver, whereas in the case of Egypt is the industrial sector. Now, but those are also some of the sectors employing male workers. And again, we go back to the importance of the equity component of the transition, of both transitions, in terms of also equality of opportunity for women. So I was saying that there are some interesting patterns when it comes to the correlation between, for example, inactive population, youth population, so not in the employment, education, training sector, and labor productivity, you see a negative correlation as you would expect, which means basically there is a huge reservoir of skills and human capital that is not being utilized to increase the labor productivity. But then you see also positive correlation between high-skilled employment and secondary education graduates and labor productivity, as we would expect. The interesting part is when you look at STEM graduates and expenditure on research and development, actually you don't see correlation with labor productivity, which is something interesting that needs to be further analyzed. And also, when you look at the business surveys, the typical World Bank business surveys, and you see the amount of investment of businesses, and those are formal businesses, not informal, in innovation of products, of processes, and also in terms of spending in human resource training of their human capital, and also in research and development, those are normally tend to be lower compared to the global comparators, the global benchmarks. And of course, it varies a lot, but also in some countries, they've been going down over the last decade. So this is, if you put together all this picture, together with an important aspect, which is labor productivity has been driven by within sector efficiency, innovation. And we go back to the Nobel Prize awards, not between sectors. So the economic transformation has been lagging behind. So it has been innovation driven at the sectorial or firm level. But at the same time, you have a lot of small, medium-sized firms that are not investing. So there is a very complex picture here that we need to bring together. You have the complexity of the task that we have in front of us. That's why, going back to Adam's point, a partnership is critical. Now, let me just spend a few minutes on what UNDP is doing to that effect. So we are working obviously a lot on the energy sector in a few countries and in the southern Mediterranean region, like Egypt, Lebanon, state of Palestine, Syria, Jordan, Libya as well, on energy efficiency projects and also renewable, particularly for large facilities, public sector facilities, but also capacity building, technical assistance for policymakers and market regulators. That is very important in this part of the region. We are also working on off-grid systems, particularly in crisis context, for obvious reasons in terms of solar energy and so on and so forth. But then we also are working with, going back to many of the points I just mentioned, on business accelerators through a project which is called the Green Growth and Job Accelerator Project. So what we do is we provide support for 6 months. There are different cohorts that last around 6 months. We provide support to small business, micro and small business, typically in operational efficiency, financial management, scaling up their operations, investment readiness, risk management, financial management, market access, and networking. And the results are very encouraging. The work in these projects operate in Jordan, in Tunisia, in Morocco, and in the future in Algeria. So the results are very encouraging. In the first cohort that ended last year, we had 80 businesses that were accelerated. The vast majority, of course, are green business or businesses that are implementing green technology, green solutions. Over 200 new jobs were created, and over 30 jobs were upgraded to decent in the first cohort only, in the first 6 months. And there has been a revenue increase for businesses, sizable increase around 30%, and also around 25% of businesses have had access to new financing sources, which is important. Within the environment green sector, the businesses that have been represented in that sector have been particularly in the agri-tech and agribusiness, and also in the water natural resource. Now, in the energy sector, which is hovering around 15–20% of those businesses, is an area that it's, of course, important, and we aim to increase that activities. And then the same applies to the second cohort, which just ended. We don't have the final results yet, but you can see that over 100 businesses have been participating and benefit from this with a retention rate that is close to 90%, which is very high according to international standards. The second area of work is on the upskilling and reskilling for knowledge, a specific project that is being conducted through also our partnership with Coursera, which it's one of the largest platforms globally. Over 17,000 learners have been enrolled in these courses. Over 10,000 were specifically on AI and digital and data management. Around 12,000 have completed those courses. This was just the first round, and 50,000 are on the waiting list, just to give you the idea of on the demand side, going back to what we were discussing in the previous sections. And 75% based on our early survey have secured a job or have been promoted after this training course. Moving forward, going back to the point of the importance of AI and energy coming together, we are looking into additional courses that look into that aspect. And also, again, as Adel was saying, the technical component. So this is not just for graduate, but should be increasingly for technicians and TVET related type of work, and therefore more partnership with policymakers, TVET institutions, and also employers, very importantly, is expected. This will eventually feed into a broader program, regional program, that will be a knowledge academy, where all these different actors, stakeholders will be brought together. The final component we work on is on finance. There is a lot of work there. Basically, just to be short, given the limited time, we look into two directions: alignment on the financial solutions and leveraging financing sources. What do I mean by that? Alignment is basically to make sure that investment decisions and financing flows are aligned with increasingly with standards. We heard one of our colleagues in the previous presentation talking about taxonomy, for example. And it's important, we are moving in that direction, that countries in the region increasingly look into these green or sustainable taxonomies, and also to direct investment towards those high priority sectors that are sustainable in the long term. And also in terms of budget preparation, SDG tagging, climate budgeting, gender budgeting, and results-based budgeting, which is important in the region. And also the taxonomy will help in terms of issuing of bonds. The region has been historically active, starting with Egypt and also moving to the Gulf countries in the issuing of green bonds, but also social bonds or sustainability bonds could be options there. And finally, in terms of leveraging, just to finish, blended finance has been, the risking has been a critical component. We are helping countries also to prepare pipelines of bankable projects, and also in terms of impact investment of potential investors in the private sector, but also in the public sector. This is done through two flagship initiatives at the regional level. One is the Green Finance Platform that tries to put all this together, different components. Takaful Alliance, we haven't talked about Islamic finance as a potential conduit for innovation, business innovation, and beyond, in terms of also energy and impact dimensions of investment, and also through country-level initiatives, like the one that we are preparing, the pipeline related to Lebanon, the Lebanon Green Finance Facility, and so on and so forth. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you too much, Dr. Vito, for your insight, for also the positive vibes and the positive message that you have sent, because we are saying that we are lagging behind, but we have also some strength and we have opportunities, and this is a new window of opportunities. This to transition that are occurring now. So I'm seeing Yasmin for the timeline. I think we have some minutes to for interaction and
Yeah,
for
sure. I think it's worth it to have like 2-3 minutes. If anyone in the audience have any questions, it would be interesting.
even between the panelists, if
Yeah,
they
sure.
want to pose the questions or to highlight something else. But yeah, I would like to join Amira Subh. He said, I'm happy to be attending this discussion. Me too, I'm happy to be part of this discussion. So, but yeah, any question? Otherwise, I will give the floor to the panelists in order to have the final comment, final message. Again, at 4 minutes, one for each panelist in order to make the last highlight. I start with Christina.
Yes, I was checking if there is a question or not. There was a okay. Yeah, quickly from our side, I mean, the message is also that this investment and development at more local, granular level in specific sectors or subsectors, because here we talk already about a very specific sometimes sector. I think it has to be well accompanied by system developments as well. And here I want to underline this element of portability of skills. And the portability of skills can be only achieved if there is a transparency and comparability of various systems, in particular the qualification system, the education and training systems. And here is where ETF as EU agency supports a lot the countries in of South Med. Maybe I would add here, because there is a huge opportunity to use ESCO, the European Skills, Competence, and Occupation Taxonomy, to also speed up the analysis of skills and greening implications in various areas. And we will continue on that and support the countries to also maybe consider reflection of this ESCO as a component into their vacancies, qualification registers, and so on and so forth, because this will really help also these developments at sector level. The second point, it's about mobility of labor and skills, and how to enhance the intra-regional, intra-country, but also intra-sectorial mobility. And for that, we need to have proper processes for skills and competence validation. We see a huge opportunity in micro-credentials. All these elements, more specific technological developments in certain areas, would rather require validation and certification of bits of qualification or skills. Not always easy to transpose into legal solutions, but here I would plea for these more flexible learning opportunities. And the final point from my side, echoing Dr. Eba as well, it's about also regions that are lagging behind, to how to make sure that these investments, particularly upskilling and reskilling, are also relevant, and really there is a proper coverage of regions that are less developed, and how to make that a reality. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you so much, Christina. And let me move to Noha. Do you have any highlight, something that you would like to add for your last minute?
I would like to add, just to strengthen the energy cluster is not only about advancing technology or so, but also we need to build a collaboration, fostering innovation and creating shared value across the Mediterranean and European clusters. And also we have to work together to transform the clean energy to be a tangible opportunities for sustainable growth. Jatid, thank you very much. And we're looking forward for more collaboration with different clusters.
Thank you so much, Noha. Vito, so we give you the floor again, even if you have taken more time than the other, but UNDP, you know, it's very important for us working with you, so we need you. Please, last minute.
Well, I would say yes. I mean, as I started with partnership, collaboration, innovation, but also equity are the critical dimension of moving forward. Equity at the regional scale, at the country level, territorial level, but also across those dimensions, social dimensions I was talking about. It's critical. Whenever we design our projects and interventions, let's not forget about the social aspects that are important, critically important, particularly in the region where informality is pretty high, particularly related to micro and small enterprises, for example. I will stop here as I took already too much time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would like to thank all the speakers for their insight. It was a really wonderful discussion with the three moments, three panel. I was glad to have moderate this session, even though I would like also to thank all the people that had attended. I have seen some of them are really very focused, and they stayed with us for more than 2 hours. By the way, I would like to say hi to Marise, which is following us. Yeah, we had not enough time in order to make more interaction, but I think that this is a starting point, and the discussion is very rich. And I think we need something in order to send to all the people about the links, because there are so many links, so many information about all the projects. So something is happening, and we are trying to tackle this twin transition nowadays. Each partner is tackling from a certain point of view, but we are trying to put this together and to make something, sorry, I think that I need some help from Yasmin now, because
Yes,
I'm done.
I can. No, I can come and intervene. The whole purpose, and this is going to be considered the closing remarks. I'm going to be delivering them on behalf of Yasmin Fahim. The whole purpose of the EuroMed Cluster Innovate series of webinars is to make sure that we hear from the clusters about their work on the ground, like Engineer Noha did today, and at the same time tackle the global trends and the available opportunities for the cluster to benefit from, and the stakeholders overall working over here. So the Education Hub platform Vito mentioned, I can see that there are a number of questions asking for the links right now. Some of the clusters already are going to benefit from the studies and the opportunities, the financing module, for instance, Roberta mentioned in the morning. And from also the presentation made by Mr. Hisham, there's a lot of interaction, and a lot of people can go and extend requests for the Digital Transformation Center to ask for their involvement and the success stories and guidance. And this is the sole purpose of the key takeaway from each and every webinar. So just to conclude, I want to thank all our panelists. Really, really, this is extremely enriching. The recording of this webinar will be available on ERF website, so that if anyone wants to go back and reference, and the presentations as well. And there will be another webinar following this one. It's going to be organized by our partners, FEMIS. It will be tackling the main topic, or the greater umbrella would be the green tech. So maybe it would be an opportunity to extend and continue our conversation. And stay tuned. I'm sure my colleagues will send you over the details very soon. One more time, thank you, and wish you a great afternoon. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.